Hello, my friends. Today we will learn together the second parsha from the book of Leviticus. It's called in Hebrew TZAV, order. The first section is small. It talks about the fire that burned on the altar. So we'll read it. You can read it on your own. It's just few verses. And then we discuss it in more depth. So the section talk about in general that Aaron, the high priest, Aaron should make sure that the fire will burn on the altar. And actually it is repeated 3 times in a section. But before we dive into understanding what he's talking about, let's ask ourselves what the Sefer HaChinuch asks. What's important of the fire? I've been thinking that the sacrifices are important. The fire is only a tool to deal with the sacrifice, to get rid of them, to burn them, or to elevate them, whatever. But it's only a tool. Why the Torah focus on the fire here more than the sacrifice? And that's a question that Sefer HaChinuch asks. And indeed, there is no other section in the Torah that equal to what it says here. No other section of Torah deal with the fire, only here. And indeed, the Torah repeats the fire 3 times. One in verse 1, actually chapter 6, chapter 1. He says this is an elevation on an altar. It should burn all night long until the morning. And the fire of the altar should be burned in it. That's the first time the fire is mentioned. Then the Torah says, talk about the priest, the Kohen, and then repeat the statement in verse 5, and the fire of the altar should burn in it. It's the second time. And the chapter in the end of the next verse, it says eternal fire should be burned on the altar, should not be extinguished. 3 times. So the Talmud actually says that the Torah refers here to 3 sets of wood, of fire that was set up on the altar. Day, in the morning, and in the evening. 3 piles of fire, of wood, 3 piles of fires that led to 3 types of fires. The first one referred to the big, what we call the big setup of the big wood, pile of wood, and it supports the fire throughout the night. The altar was never idle. The rabbis made sure that something would burn it through the night. So whatever was left over from the daytime, or sometimes they brought intentionally offering in order to keep the altar busy. That's the first fire. The second fire that mentioned here relates to the golden altar that was inside the temple, the building. It was on which the incense was burned in the morning. So that's the second fire. So a certain pile of wood was set up on the altar to be taken from there. They would take fire into the temple to lighten up the fire on the golden altar. The third time that mentioned here, the Torah call it eternal fire. And indeed, the fire was taken to lighten up the eternal candle in a menorah, in a candlelight. So here we have now three fires, supported by three piles of fire. In addition, there was another one, number 4, small one, that no fire was taken from here. It was burned just for the sake of the fire on the altar. So what's the story? What's going on here? What's the importance of the fire? And what fueled the fire? So we can ask ourselves, what was burned on those fires? Let's go to the first one. Through the night. So what was burned on the fire, what burned by the fire through the night was remnant, number one, remnant of any offering that was done in the daytime. Either some offering that were not simply didn't have the time, there was no time to put them on the altar, so they were left over. Or some of them were actually left over because they were disqualified for some reason. And some animals actually were brought in with some blemish. They were already slaughtered. But now that when the night came, they did put them on the altar. So remnant of offering, and so left over, and some of them that were disqualified. That's very important. So this fueled the fire on the altar through the night. Now, let's focus on that for a minute. They have been designated at daytime to be sin offering, guilt offering, or whatever, by the owner. And yet, when they come to the night, transformation occurred. And now they are being offered as an elevation or burnt offering. Completely different laws. They are completely burned, no meat for the owner, just elevation with the fire to heavens. What changed the status? We'll see in a minute. What power did change that status of the sacrifice? Now, Another thing, what's the meaning of this transformation? Sin offering and guilt offering, as you know, they're always designed to atone for a specific sin, usually a severe sin, harsh, heavy sin, transgression of some law between man and God. It's a sin offering and guilt offering. For instance, if we violate the Sabbath unintentionally, it's a severe. If I had done it intentionally, it's a severe punishment. But if I did it unintentionally, I bring a sin offering. And if I'm not so sure, I build guilt offering. So the courtyard tell you ask you a detail and tell you what kind of offering you need to bring. A different animal and a different age and so on. And the Torah done it intentionally so that we can search ourselves, search our soul to clean it. So you need to, like a surgeon, you have to identify the sin, put a name of it, and bring the proper offering to clean it, to clean your soul. So that's the purpose of sin offering and guilt offering. But between man and God on sin. You don't bring usually sacrifice for violating laws between men and men, or killing, murdering, idolatry, adultery, bloodshed. When a person commits one of those, there's no remedy with the offering. Beside one. And let's explain to you why, because here we understand what the purpose of the elevation offering. Elevation offering, the Talmud says, atone for a positive commandment that the person overlooked. I supposed to take a lulav on the only day of Sukkot, and I didn't do it. It's not a severe sin, but if I want to atone it, it's something I should have done, positive commandment, and I overlooked it, so I want to atone for it. There's no sin offering, no guilt offering, but burn offering, elevation. Again, it attuned for positive commandment to tell me what to do, and I overlooked it. Between man and God, but also between man and man. Here is the difference. There are some commandments between man and man that I overlooked, and if I didn't do it, I bring burnt offering. One commandment stand out like this is justice. Commandment number 5 of Noah. Because it's a positive commandment, I need to implement justice, set up court. And if I haven't done it, or if I personally did commit injustice, I bring burnt offering. And why is that? Because the purpose of the commandment is to make us holy. The Torah says in the end of Leviticus, you should keep my you should be holy to me, keep my commandment. We are holy not by living long hair and secluding ourselves in a cave. We are holy by doing mitzvot, not negative mitzvot. If I don't kill, if I don't transgress negative commandment, I'm not holy. I'm a good person, but I'm not holy. To become holy in the eyes of Hashem, I need to perform positive commandment. The only positive commandment that Noahide have is number 5, dinim. The rest of them are negative commandments. Do not kill, do not commit adultery, do not shed blood, do not steal, so on. And number 5 is not only do not commit injustice, but it's a positive commandment. You need to set up a righteous system. You need to be proactive, very active in implementing justice in society. That's the way to become holy in the eyes of Hashem, both for Israel and Noahide. There is no difference here. I can become holy to Hashem by fulfilling positive commandment, which is dinim, justice. And if I overlooked it, I bring burnt offering, elevation, both Israel or Noahide, no difference. So that's the purpose of the burnt offering, to give opportunity to atone for something that sin offering and guilt offering won't do. And that if you pause for a minute, you think about the meaning of that, that's for Noahide to implement justice, social justice, is a holy task, is a holy mission. You should be very passionate about justice, social justice, fight against lies, about false accusation, blood libels, misunderstanding. You should fight for justice. That's a holy dictum. The only way that the nations can become holy in the eyes of Hashem, including Israel. Israel also included you. What do you think the prophet of Israel was shouted about? These people shouted, what do? You violate justice. You take advantage of the widow, of the poor, of the orphan. That's Jeremiah and Amos. That's what I was shouting about. More than anything else. You claim to be holy, you are not holy. So here is you understand now the meaning and the great message here of why the Torah focuses on burnt offering more than anything else, because everything else is turned to be burnt offering, which atones for a positive commandment that you didn't do, and universally for mankind is justice. But there is another aspect of burnt offering. Another, it's the mental work. It's not enough just to bring offering and stand by and think about your stock. It needs to be associated with mental work. When you bring this burnt offering as a donation, you're not obligating. You bring it as a donation. And you ask Hashem, forgive me for a missed opportunity to become holy. And you present to Hashem yourself in total. As if you prostrate, you open up your heart completely to Hashem and say, look, Hashem, I overlooked. That's what I am. I overlooked my commandment. I didn't do it, but look what I am. This is what I am now. Take me as I am. I have too many tribulation. My life is so and so. Don't say a word. It's just on your mind. Take me, Hashem. See, this is what I am here before you. And here I am as a result of my free will. And I have, Hashem, just one request from you, one prayer. Let me please change my free will so that it will match your free will. It's the only prayer that brought along with a burnt offering. So when this burnt offering are burned through the night, they convey that posture to Hashem. Your entire personality goes up to Hashem, and a bad thought, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, even a bad thought go up and burn on the altar, go out to heaven, including thought of rejection of Hashem. Avodah Zarah, even idolatry. Suppose you had all kind of mishaps and all kind of thinking, but this is what I am. There's no point here to regret or ask forgiveness. This is what I am, a result of my free will. I just pray to you, God, that let me change my free will to match your free will. A special posture of the burnt offering, along with the burnt offering. So we need to understand that when the huge fire burned through the night, it conveyed to heavens the thought and the personalities of thousands of people who came during the day and offered those burnt offerings to Hashem, Jews and non-Jews, all color of races, all races, as King Solomon said. And they all asked for Hashem that change my free will to your free will. This is to remind you, this is exactly what Noah did on Mount Moriah after the flood. He had so many tribulations. He didn't want even to listen to Hashem. Hashem Elohim told him, go out of the ark, reproduce. He said no. And then he come to Mount Moriah and he just stand there without wording, without saying a word. He just stand there praying. And Hashem, as if he was telling Hashem, you read my heart. You know my tribulation. You know what I'm afraid of. I don't want to procreate because I'm sure that my son, my children, will slide again into bloodshed, killing in the name of God. Each one perceive God in a different way. And bloodshed will occur, and the flood will come back. So I don't want to, I will not procreate until you promise me there is a light there at the end of the tunnel. So Hashem listened to him and gave him the rainbow covenant. So that's posture of Noah, the Talmud says, in the Midrash in Yalkut. That posture of Noah is what the people posture should be when they come with a burnt offering on Mount Moriah. Now, this is as far as the light, the fire of what was burning on the altar. The language is, no, the blemishes, they offer, even the fire also burn the blemished offering that became kosher. So each one of us, our blemish thinking, turn out to be kosher. That's the logic here. So now we come to the next topic of the parsha, and that's the priest. Who is in charge of the fire? Aharon, the high priest of Israel. There is emphasis here, Aaron and his children. And the focus is on Aaron, that the high priest is in charge of it. He can delegate it to a minor priest, rank, and he doesn't have to do it personally, but he's in charge. He's in charge of the fire through the night, and he's in charge of what happened in the morning. Let's see what the Torah describes, what he's supposed to do. First of all, the high priest, or the priest, is in charge of the fire that burns on the altar throughout the night. He needs to stand there and throw on the altar all the remnant, should elevate them on the altar through the night. He should make sure the altar will not stand idle. That's number one. And then the Torah prescribes what happened in the morning, at dawn. Boker, early in the morning. Boker. It's early before the regular boker, before the regular morning. But it was still dark. The priest, is in charge now of cleaning the altar, making sure that the fire would continue to burn the next day. By the way, here, before I forget, in a temple, the night finished the day. So the unit of a day is day and night. The following night belongs to the previous day. So when the burnt offering burn on the altar through the night, they finish the job of the previous daytime. In the morning, a new day dawn. That's in contrast to what it says in Genesis, that it was evening it was morning, day 1 or day 2. So the evening preceded the day in Genesis. Whereas in a temple, the system is changed only in the temple itself. The night followed the day. So now the priest, after taking care that the night fire will not be extinguished, in the morning you need to clean the altar from the ashes, from all the remnant, to make sure that the next fire will burn nicely. And then he takes some of the remnant and the ashes, he goes down to the altar base with the shovel, and he stick it to the side of the altar. So the altar is built over the years by the remnant of the sacrifice only that were burned on it. So the altar actually built itself by the help of the priest. After cleaning and sticking to the side, to the wall, the other priest take a bag, he put whatever is left over from the ashes, and he goes out of the temple mount about 0.5 kilometer to the north. Then there is a pit, specially designated. He put the remnant there, he buried them at the pit. Now the good fire is burned on the altar, and the priest takes from the other pile of wood that's now burning also from the ketoret, from the incense, to bring it into the inner chamber of the temple and to light the menorah, as we discussed above. So that's the high priest's job. That the Torah prescribes it to the high priest, Aaron, but he can delegate it. And it's done in humility. When you stand up at night, nobody sees him. He saw a remnant on the altar in the cold, and it's a sign of humility. Because it says, how do I know that? Because on the verse 2 or the verse 1 or verse 2, when it says on the fire, there is Mokdam, a small mem. A small mem is designating humility. He brings the fire with humility. Parallel to Moses, the last parsha, previous parsha, where he wrote down that Hashem called him, he wrote out this small aleph to show humility. So the humility of Moses is paralleled by the humility of Aaron. Now, I want, in order to illustrate for you the meaning of all that, let me tell you kind of a story. The story that, just for illustration, is about a high priest of Israel. His name is Yeshua ben Gamla. Well, he lived at the end of the Second Temple. And what was happening at that time, there were 18 high priests appointed to the position. None of them survived the year. 18. Why? They were all unqualified. They go in Yom Kippur into the Holy Chamber, and Hashem didn't like them. All of them were wealthy people, Sadducite. They didn't believe in the oral Torah, in the sages. All of them bought the position from the Romans and from Herod by money. All of them just lusted to the beautiful clothes, to the position of power, to be revealed by the masses of people. They all lusted for the glory. And what happened is that they enter the Holy of Holy Chamber, but they came out alive. And they were so happy. Look what I had done. I'm qualified. And they made a big celebration, describing in detail. But Joseph was fabulous. He described the celebration of the high priest coming from the Holy of Holy. Only that few months later, the man is gone. Then they appoint another one, and the same thing happening. 18, one after the other. Apart from one or two righteous high priests, that they're righteous people. They believe in the Torah, and they were not Sadducite. They believe in the Torah. And one of them was this Yehoshua, the son of Gamliel. He is known, I'll tell you in a minute why he's so known. He was a righteous, modest person. He didn't think about himself qualified to be the high priest, but only his wife, Martha bat Baitos, his daughter of Baitos. She was extremely wealthy. Her father had plenty of palm trees in Tiberia, and she gave a lot of money, bribed the proper authorities, Roman and Jewish, and they, of course, appointed him, like anybody else, to the position. Only that this one was a really honest, righteous person, loving Torah, and she loved Torah. So she did it on purpose, we'll see in a minute. Now, let's build up a story here to depict the depth of what the Torah is saying here. Imagine this Yehoshua ben Gamliel sit there in a new position and Yom Kippur comes. It's night. Tomorrow morning, he is going to function. He's going to stand up with a huge, beautiful uniform. Gorgeous, full of jewelry. Masses of people, thousands, look at him, adoring him, as he goes into the Holy of Holy Temple. He knows it. But he is aware before whom he's going to stand. He knows that in the Holy Temple there is no more Holy Ark, no more cherubs. The Shekhinah is there, but she is not seen. But he also knows that actually in the Holy Chamber is seen not only by the Shekhinah and YHVH. It's going to be seen by the one who had the supreme will above all the spheres, about everything, all the imagination, the human, the one who had the original will to create the universe. That's why before all he's going to stand. Am I qualified for that? He asked himself. We talked about it last week on Parshat Vayikra, that Moses was the almost infinite God nameless God called Moses. So to come in, so that am I going to this place? Am I qualified to enter that? Moses survived. Moses came in because he was modest. Oh, he says to himself, I must do something in order to survive that encounter. Now it's the middle of the night. He's supposed to be there in a chamber throughout the night, surrounded by all the big people of Israel, the Sanhedrin, telling him what to do. There's many servants there. So silently, without anybody notice, he sneak out in the middle of the night. Imagine him going out in a cold night, wearing barefoot, only a linen cloth, simple linen cloth of a simple priest. Nobody even recognized him. And he stands there by himself, maybe with one or two other priests that don't even know him. Not necessarily, because they know that the high priest is now in the chamber. He's not here. And he stands by them and throwing remnant on the altar. And he takes those disqualified, blemished offering, and he takes them and throw them on the altar. And he says, like anybody else will bring offering, he said, God, this is what I am. This is what I am. See me. I wish that my will be your will. And this is why he stand out through the night. It is the fast day, cold, and he's standing there. And in the morning before dawn, he himself stand on the altar, is a plain cloth, take a shovel, and clean. He's a cleaning boy. How to clean the altar? The ashes. He clean it good. All the three piles. He arranged the wood, he carry more wood. Then he goes down with a shovel full of dirt and ashes, and he stick it to the side of the wall of the altar. Because this is how the altar is being built, by the ashes of the previous day. And then, while it's still night, still dark. It's a morning in the temple, but it's still night. So he takes a bag, fill it with dirt, put it on his shirt, on his shoulder. His face is already full of dirt, nobody recognizes him. And he walks along to the gate of the northern gate of the Temple Mount, and he offers it to another person there and says, this is from the altar, it should be gone. It's pulled out in a pit there. He would have done it by himself, but he cannot leave the Temple Mount, cannot leave the gate outside because of Yom Kippur. The high priest is not allowed. Otherwise, he would have done it by himself. But then he returned back completely dirty. Dirt. He goes back to the court. People don't recognize him. But you see that people are looking for him. You see the rush, the servant, the student, everybody, where is the high priest? He's gone. Now the court is now gradually filled with people. They come in, they see a dirty man, they put him aside. go, wash yourself. What are you doing here? They tell him. He tried to go to his own bath there, designated for the high priest, but the guards see him and say, man, go away. This is not for you. This is for the high priest, not for you. Imagine that happening. And while he's stuck there, the crowd convene and they're waiting for the high priest to start the service of the Yom Kippur. It cannot be started without the high priest, and high priest is not there. He's standing there with a face covered with ashes. No rank, nobody cannot go into. Imagine that scenario. Now the Talmud focus on that moment. And the Talmud says the following: you know what makes the temple holy? That moment. That moment that the high priest stood there in humility by the altar with the fire burning there. And humility, with modesty. No TV, camera, no guests coming to see how he kisses people's hair and legs. No, he by himself. Nobody even knows his name. And the Talmud said, this man is the reason that the temple stand holy. Why? Says Rabbi Yehuda. Says Rabbi Yehuda. Ask yourself, he said, how is it possible that the sacrifice were designated to be sin offering, whatever, now change the posture, change to be qualified to the altar? What made them qualified? They were disqualified. They represent evil thought. How come they become kosher thought on the altar? Or on the other hand, what made this disqualified and left over offering? They're all qualified suddenly to be put on the altar so gloriously. He said, Rabbi Yehuda said, that the power of the altar with a fire on it. Once the fire burned on the altar, the altar that is such a powerful holy place that change the offering become qualified. In Hebrew, המזבח מכפר, מכשיר את הראוי לו. The altar qualifies whoever comes to it. Because such an altar that is raised, done by humility, by the ashes of the previous day, such an altar, when fire burns on it, fire just by wood, it transforms the offering to be qualified to go on it, become kosher. And it also transforms the thought of the people. Whatever you thought on your heart that is non-kosher, it transforms it. It becomes kosher. And they all go up to heaven. like in Noah sacrifice. So the secret of this transformation is the altar that was completely made by humility, and it transformed them non-kosher to kosher. Now come Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. He said, well, Rabbi Yehuda, it's more than that. It's not the altar, not only change the offering to become kosher, it changed the entire court. It created a court around it that you can actually put fence around it, and whatever animal, whatever sacrifice enter that court, become kosher to the altar. The altar transformed the courtyard to holy place. Not only that, once you have the courtyard, you have a temple. And because the fire that burns on the altar, you take it to the inner, to the temple, to light on the golden altar there, and on the menorah. So everything is connected to this fire on the external altar. So that moment when the priest, or the high priest, if you want, stand there with humility. Nobody recognized me there. That moment changing the entire place to become holy. Now we understand what at the beginning of the parsha, he says, order Aaron and his children. Order, the Rashi says, for not only Aaron, but generations. Why the Rashi says generation? Because there is a prescription here to build the third temple. How? Just follow what we said. First of all, you identify the site of the altar on the Temple Mount. Turned out to be Rabbi Goren made a survey, the chief rabbi of Israel, and he said the altar was not placed on where the Muslim shrine is. It's north of it. It's empty space today. So once you identify the place of the altar, which Rabbi Goren more or less could do with some certainty. So once you identify the altar, you can build it from the dirt taken from the same site, from the Temple Mount, and you put wood on it, and you burn it. So you have an altar and a fire burn on it. It creates the space of the Azara, of the courtyard. You can now put a rope and designate the area around the altar, and you have holy courtyard, including the space of the temple itself. And now you have fire if you build a temple with all the vessels in it, without sacrifice, just ready to offer. As the Rambam says, very careful. The Rambam doesn't say you have to offer today animal. Just build a temple ready. Then you fulfill the mitzvah. So you build a temple, the third temple, ready, and you have a fire. You can actually put a light in the menorah and the altar. So you have a third temple standing without a Messiah and without any change in nature that people think. And you fulfill your commandment. And Rabbi Goren said, it's like any other commandment. Positive commandment. Positive commandment. And you become holy by fulfilling positive commandment. So here is, again, where Noahide are equal, almost equal to Israel when it comes to burnt offering. So the most important element or foundation of the temple, which is humility, and burnt offering, you prostrate your ego before God. And so everything goes along with burnt offering. No difference between Noahide and Israel. So we all can build the third temple, God willing. Well, there is so much more to talk about it, but it's our limit of time. Thank you for being with me. And meet again, God willing, to discuss next week's class. Thank you.